we are overwhelmed with a lot of corporate response to this campaign. And today I would like to invite onto stage Mr. Devesh Sachdev, CEO, Fusion Microfinance and board member of MFIN, to extend his support to Behtar India.
Behtar India is an excellent initiative by NDTV, and would like to congratulate NDTV and DHFL Pramerica for this noble endeavor. I think it's a collective responsibility of the government, corporates, and all segments of society to contribute towards the Behtar India. We would like to announce that we are, as a company, on this platform, contributing for 1,000 dengue kits.
Please join your hands together with me and welcome on stage Mrs. Gurmeet Bindra, Principal, Bellam's Voice.
I stand here with a lot of confidence, with a lot of optimism, and I know you join me in this confidence and optimism. We all are eager to welcome a new future. A future where India will have clean rivers. A future where India will have clean air to breathe. A future where India will probably be covered, the emerald cover of green forests is what we hope for. A future where diseases like dengue will be a thing of the past. A future where every Indian will be proud of a Swachh Bharat. So let us hope that together, you all and us will walk towards a cleaner India, a healthier India, a vibrant India, a greener India, a Behtar India. You will also become a better human being. All of us are committing ourselves with gratitude to NDTV. All of us are committing ourselves to a better ourselves and a better India. Thank you. God bless us all.
So as you know, this campaign, Behtar India, it's all to do about students. It's all to do, and they're the driving force of the campaign. When we speak about Swachhta, we speak about health, we speak about the environment. It's these young minds that we're trying to ignite and make them real ambassadors for this, and something that, because they're the future of this country, and you guys are the future of this country, and you've all done amazing things at a very, very young age. So I was just telling them, Nitesh, about this suit that you thought about, and getting it from the getting pollution from the air, literally, and using it and making use of it. So I'd like you to share with them, how did you even think about something like this?
So the idea about air ink evolved through just basic observation. So while you walk on the streets, your shirts get dirty, right? If you are wearing a white shirt, it will turn black after a day of work. So our team thought that why can't we just see this? So the reason why it gets dirty is because there are soot particles present in the air. I can show you what you actually breathe while you walk on the street. This is exactly what you breathe while you walk on the streets. This is called particulate matter 2.5. So we thought of why can't we repurpose it into something more creative. So we made these markers out of this soot. So actually this soot is a raw material for inks. It's deliberately burnt. So in countries it's deliberately, the fossil fuel is deliberately burnt to generate soot. But it's already out there, it's already burning in the vehicle. So we thought, why can't we just use this soot and turn it into something as good as inks?
Rwitwika, you tell us about Swaniti. It's something that you established. You work with the government, you work on development issues. So tell the students a bit about this and how you thought of it.
Absolutely. I think the goal of Swaniti was, to get young people into the system. The goal was to be problem solvers and work with the government in being able to deliver what we call public services, right? And as we can see today, and as we can see from the audience, young people have some incredible ideas when it comes to how to work with the government, what to do. So what we started doing was we started actually with a program where we said, let's get the best minds to work with members of parliaments. And with senior level bureaucrats. And so we went through this intense recruitment process, brought in people from the best universities, best schools, to go in and to spend a year with a government official, whether it's a member of parliament, whether it's a senior bureaucrat, to help them solve issues which truly affect all of us. Something as simple as, how does everyone get access to clean water, or how do we actually build more infrastructure? So that in a nutshell is what Swaniti does.
It's absolutely fascinating, because I think, again, as I started by saying that a lot of young people wonder, what can we do? There's so much to be done, and we're just one person, and we have no power. But this actually helps them see how the country is run.
Something that not necessarily everyone knows is that a member of parliament is also answerable to their constituents. They go back to their constituencies and they're supposed to go ahead and actually respond to them. So there's something called a local area development fund. What we have young people going in and doing is, well, I can spend it on anything. And just like a person has one life, a person has finite resources. So why not go ahead and strategically plan on the things which we want to spend on? So for example, if I notice there aren't enough hospitals, let's have a young person go out there, actually measure how many hospitals there are, actually see if it's fulfilling the need, and then let's go ahead and see, okay, is there a need? If there is, let's put in a crore into that.
Kristen, here I'd like to come to you because you've developed sanitary pads that are biodegradable. And again, we recently did reports on menstrual waste and diapers. You know, we use all these products, but we never think about how they impact our environment. And we're a vast country. We have a massive population. We have women in rural India who need access to these options. But at the same time, we need to give them greener options. So how did you think about this?
Yeah, so actually, for us, we started with the idea that we wanted to bring access to more women in India to sanitary pads. But then started realizing when we were into manufacturing that we had to order the raw materials and produce the product. And the materials that are used in sanitary pads are actually mostly from plastics. There are a lot of chemicals used. And in the midst of thinking about this from our own perspective of being sustainable, we also realized that consumers were also unhappy with having a product that's disposable that contains a lot of plastic and chemicals. So we decided that instead we would look at how we're going to source sustainable materials to make the same product with the same functionality, yet it's all natural, no chemicals involved, and it's all from plant-based materials. Right. And so one of the other things is that in rural situations, they're not always landfills, right? You don't have the same waste infrastructure that you would have in a city. And so if you're going to introduce a disposable product, then how is it going to be disposed of? And so that's where we're thinking, okay, well, this can be applicable or relevant both in villages and in cities. And there doesn't have to be any discrimination between the two. This will have benefits in the long run. And it turns out that actually using natural materials means it's better for the consumer as well. So women found that they don't have any irritation or rashes from using this product.
Speaking of waste and cities, Vimlendu, I'd like to bring you here because you've been working on these issues for years now. And you know, you've been taking kids up to Yamunotri. You've been showing them the source of the Yamuna that, as you all know, we've been speaking about this in Delhi, is a dead river. It's polluted, it's toxic, it's smelly. I mean, you should take a trip to the Yamuna as well. We've been there, we've done events with Swachhta, and you could not stand next to the Yamuna because it was smelling so bad. And you know, you have cities in Europe where the cities are actually along the river. They do all their recreational work along the river, but in Delhi, we just can't even think about it.
No, absolutely. So the reason why we need to talk about environment is not just because it needs to look good, but it's extremely critical for all of us. And the work that we do and many other people are actually doing is at two levels. One is that at a very fundamental level, there's only that much that you and I can do, but we need to do that much. So that's one part of the work where every citizen needs to think that, yes, it's also my responsibility and not just of the MCD or not just of the government to really clean our cities or maintain a particular kind of air quality or our environment in that sense. And the other is at the same time also hold the governments responsible for their task. So when we talk about waste and a lot of conversation that we were actually having about waste right now, imagine Delhi churns somewhere around what, 9,000 metric tons of garbage every day? And we don't really know, as in if you ask people in their room, do they remember their last waste? They don't, because they just put it in the dustbin and their association with waste ended there. But the cities and cities' ecology's association with waste did not end there. So I think it's very important for us to really do a higher level conversation at the same time, which is structural change in the way we are leading our lives as a society. And the other is as individuals what we do. When we talk about waste, it's not just about ugly looking corner down Vasant Vihar Road. We are talking about land contamination, we are talking about water contamination, and we are actually talking about, you know, almost soil acidification that actually happens. And around all this, you and I don't deal with waste. There's someone else who is actually beaten up and lives in inhuman conditions. They deal with our waste, who are the poorest of the poor. So it's a very interesting socio-economic problem, which is completely linked to, so that is not just a marker, It's inside me, inside you,
right,
inside
that's in all our
everyone in
lungs
that
every
sense.
day, the air that we're breathing and how toxic it is. And if you remember, one of the solutions the Delhi government thought about when last winter or last to last winter, when we were facing very high pollution, was odd even. If all of you remember that cars with odd numbers were allowed on one day and cars with even numbers on another day.